Hi, everybody. I'm Lacey Bogger-Milas, and I'm here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 with some of the cast members of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Okay, so in one sentence or less, could everybody give me your thoughts on what sets Season 2 apart from Season 1? Because there is just so much happening.
I'll start sort of simply with we're talking about a battle of good versus evil, and I would also add to that life and death, life versus death, or life and death. But the stakes are high. The stakes are very high in Season 2.
Family dynamics explode.
I guess you just get to see the human element of people. It's Season 1, we were introduced to people, and sometimes that can be light, sometimes not. And the more you see that person, and they talk about themselves, the darker it gets. It's a roller coaster. It's the same with our characters, I guess. It's a very human element that we bring to it.
The fact that, are you going to be on the wrong side of history or the right side of history as a Númenórean? You have a choice. There's a moral choice for everyone in the Rings of Power.
I would really like to thank you for that perfect segue into my next question, which is one of my favorite things about Tolkien specifically, is that his stories are really concerned with corruption and the corrupting influence of just so many different factors on characters. And I think that's really, really true of the Númenórean storyline specifically. So as we head into this season, you guys somehow aren't fighting over jewelry, but I mean, I'd be jealous. But what is the biggest temptation for your characters coming into Season 2 or during Season 2 that since you don't get rings?
Well, I would say that even though within our part of the world we don't see the rings, the one element that we have that is just as powerful is the Palantir. And so we definitely have some shenanigans going on this season.
Well, I have plenty of rings. They're gonna have to sew an extra finger on my hand. I've got loads of rings as far as on. I've got an incredible black pearl ring that I'm quite fond of.
You're throwing things, Trystan. You're throwing things. But yeah, I think that certainly the idea of the Palantir is a very powerful tool that in the wrong hands can be manipulated and used for ill instead of good. So it has that same sort of temptation, that same sort of pull of how will people utilize this elven artifact. And so it's something we are going to see in Season 2 play out in our world.
And what you have is ambition and the nature of how personal advancement in certain characters, I'm just stretching my arm out in this direction, how that affects society in Numenor. I mean, but that's in every human being, the nature of ambition. And I think that just gets turned up and up and up in Numenor without a ring needed. That's already there in the politics of Numenor. That's why the king has been in the tower and she's the queen regent, because the schism in society has been there. It's just going to start cracking and getting wider.
All right, so you guys all play human characters, so I have to ask you, you exist in the show that's full of orcs and wizards and elves and whatever Tom Bombadil is. Character
He's
that
a
was...
singer.
If you could play a character that was not a human, which Middle-earth race would you want to jump ship to?
I'd want to be an elf, but I don't think I could pull that off. It's the beard on my part. I just don't think. So yeah, I guess I'd settle for being a dwarf or a hobbit. Maybe a hobbit, yeah.
I want to be a wizard.
Smart. That's a good one. I think my heart is hobbit. I think I feel like a little hobbit inside, so I think I'd go with that.
I want eternal life, so I think I'd go elf.
I knew you were going to say elf.
But I think I like the crazy passion of the dwarf. I think you want to get a drink with a dwarf, don't you?
Well, didn't you learn Elvish for this?
We did learn a bit of Elvish for this, and it's always nice when you get an elven phrase and you get involved with Leith McPherson, our dialect coach. She's the expert.
Who among you is the biggest Tolkien nerd? Were any of you big fans coming into this? Do you have the book in hand, correcting people? That would be me, is why I'm asking.
Why are you looking at me?
Me?
Oh yeah. I'd say of us
Out
four.
of us?
I think out of us
He's
four.
a quiet nerd.
I think
You're a bigger nerd.
It's a compliment.
on this couch, it's definitely Emma. I think we're all
maybe
saying
me,
it's
but
Emma.
in the cast, Rob Arameo, hands down.
And a quiet Charlie Vickers. He knows a lot. but he keeps his head down about it.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by and chatting with us this afternoon. This is so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
What am I to call you? A sharer of gifts.